Hello, everyone. My name is Artem Krivulya. I work for International Society for Human Rights, and today we are recording the first episode of our podcast für die Menschenrechte, or for human rights. And my guest is Leni Umerova, Krim Tatar activist and former political prisoner. In 2022, was arrested on the Russian-Georgian border when wanted to visit her father, who has cancer in temporarily occupied Crimea, and Sasha Bakova, human rights activist, fight for Ukrainian abducted civilians, and her brother Bogdan Ziza. Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Uh, First of all, I would like to thank you for your bravery and for your fight. You're very amazing people, and I'm very happy to have you today here.
Thank you to asking to come.
Thank you.
So, first of all, Sasha, could you please tell Bogdan's story? What happened? Why he's in prison?
Um, uh, in May 2022, Bogdan was imprisoned by Russia because he put blue and yellow color on the door in the Russian occupation administration is in his homeland, Yevpatoria. And that is all he did. And for this peaceful act, he was taken by the FSB. And after he disappeared for several days, and later he was forced to record an apology video about torture.
Thank you. We have here the picture of Bogdan and IGFM, International Society for Human Rights, together with Liberico, actually fight for his liberation from the Russian prison. And Leni, could you tell please your story? Because I heard it in Cafe Kiev during the panel discussion with Alexandra Matvichuk. And yeah, could you tell us it for us, please, for our listeners?
Once again, hello everybody who watching us. Um, I try to in um, in the end of November 2022, I tried to go to Crimea. Uh, my critical personal reasons, because of my critical personal reasons. And I went from Kiev to Crimea, and the road include a few countries. And when I went through Georgia and tried to go to Russia, I was stopped at the border control. The woman staff start asking me where I'm going. I said that I'm going to Crimea, and then she asked my passport so that I was born in Crimea. In passport it's written place of birth. uh, she heard that my closest ones lived in Crimea, and then she said that, where is my Russian passport? I said that I have no Russian passport. So she said, okay, just sit few minutes, and someone must to speak with you. Um, Four people in civilian clothes came and took me to other place, uh, where they asking me more than 8 hours, and then they put me in the jail in North Syria, where I spent more than 5 months, and then 5 months. It's very important. I need to understand this point. I spent 5 months because of administrative reasons, and then they said that one man come and say that, you're a spy. How it be? They wrote me the paper, uh, and the camera, and he said you must read the text, and after that you will return you to Crimea. I said that give me my lawyer, and I will read this. He said if you want lawyer, we will went you to Russia. I said no. Anyway, give me my lawyer. And yes, after I refuse to read this text, they sent me to Moscow prison, Moscow detention center named Lefortovo.
You said that it was people like in civilian clothes, so they didn't have like uniform, right?
Yes.
So do you think it was FSB agents or?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm not sure actually. I have no facts because at that time they said that when I asked them who they are, they said, "Call me Vanya, Ivan." Yes, and that's all information about
And
them.
what the hell, Vanya, you do here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Sasha, could you tell please more, because the information that we know, that it's very hard to get to the people who are in a captivity to in the contact, the personal contact. What the situation with Bogdan? Do you have a contact with him?
Yes, but it's so mm, limited because we don't heard his voice from mm, 2022, and we didn't see him, and uh, we communicate through letters, but for example, I receive his letters once on 2 or 4 weeks, but it is not a normal conversation. It is I it's a random fact, yeah, about his health, a little update about his health or daily routine, because it's so difficult, and so difficult censorship. Um, so it's a difficult process, yeah.
So, for example, for the people who are not familiar with Russia and Ukraine and the all everything what happening with abducted civilians and prisoners of war or political prisoners, um, could you maybe tell us more? Uh, so you cannot just go there and visit them, right? You cannot buy a ticket and to see your loved one.
Yes, I do.
In Russia, if you um yes, it's really complicated because we have a lot of uh, examples. Yes, when people trying to go like me try to go to occupied territories, it can be Crimea or Kherson, Zaporizhia, Donetsk, Luhansk region. It doesn't matter. You're trying to go to these places, and Russia start the filtration, and a lot of people can't go through this filtration, and we have once a week, once a month. Uh, the the example when people sending to Russian prison just because, yes, because they're trying to go to occupied territories and they can't. And the same situation when somebody won't go to control territory of Ukraine or another countries from occupied territories. Russia, yes, a lot of people sending to prison just because, yes, um, it's a very important point that um, you can sit in Russian prison just because you are Ukrainian, you have Ukrainian passport, and like uh, everybody now in this situation we can do some post and sometimes we are Ukrainian, someone more, someone less, but sending the money to help other people, and Russia saw all this, yes, and just because of that, they sending people in Russian prison just because they love uh, our people, our country, and trying to support somehow reasons. We have example with Apas Kurtamet, who sent 500 grivnas. It's like 10 euro, and to his good friend, and his friend uh, in Kherson, yes, and Russians took him and sent to Russian prison. Just and they said that Abbas is terrorist. At that time, he was 19-year-old boy. Yes, he's a student. He was a student, and yes, just only because he sent this 10 euro. Yes, he's terrorist.
So basically, everyone who has somehow Ukrainian background, I mean, Ukrainian citizenship, or somehow connected with Ukraine, they are like kind of in danger when they enter Russian territory.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. Everyone who have a Ukrainian passport and have a little pro-Ukrainian view can be in Russian. Theoretically can be sent in Russian prison. Actually, in occupied territory, every day people living scared that someday Fazbear can come and took them. We have a it's bad joke about 4 a.m. that everyone in occupied territory is scared 4 a.m. It's like bad time because Fazbear comes at 4 a.m. They're starting to search everywhere in your house, and they can find some terroristic Islamic books. Like example, it's yes, it's crazy, but they are bring with them these books and put in other place, and then they watch everywhere and said, oh my god, this is terroristic book, but you bring this book with yourselves. Yes, the same situation with bombs, like in example with Irina Danilovich. They find bomb, right, correctly. Yes, and she said, I don't have that. But she said, no, you have. And yeah.
You were like the first part, like this 5 months, you were in the Vladikavkaz, right? And then you like they brought you to the Moscow, to the Lefortovo, and in Lefortovo you were in detention center. And Lefortovo, it's in general like infamous for this actually political motivated cases in Russian political prisoners, and also Ukrainian one. Did you meet someone there in Lefortovo?
Thank you for this question. I want to share the stories of few women with whom I spent the time in Lefortovo because they're my sisters in bad times. Um, First one, she's name Oksana. She's from Kherson region. She's uh, she's just civilian. She worked in a kindergarten. Uh, when Russia comes in her village, mm, they starting they're make made I don't know how to in English. Maybe you can help me. The place where the military forces based. How it called?
Military base.
Yes, yes, yes. But it's in regular houses, you know.
Ah,
And
okay.
yes,
So the militaries, the like Russian militaries, they lived in the someone house, right?
yeah, of in the house of her neighborhood.
And they like use it as a military base. So
Yes,
they accommodate there and use it as their base.
yes. They said that Oksana made some photos of them or like this and kidnapped her. They put her in the basement of this house where they based. She lived there almost half of a year. Mm, every day she was beaten. She told me that she hasn't no food, no. Sometimes she has no water to drink, and women need more like medical things and etc. etc. She has nothing of that. And they tortured her. They brought her to Gap. Is it correct? Like Yama. Yeah, Gap. Yes, gather. Yeah, and they say that we will kill you here, and nobody even know where you. Um, Second story about Yana from Zaporizhia region. She moved to Dnipro region from Zaporizhia. She moved her children, and then she returned to Zaporizhia to take her stuffs and to uh, take animals like dogs. But at the border control, Russians kidnapped her. Uh, they torture her almost all the night. And in the morning, they bring her some paper and say that she must read this on the camera. She when I spoke with her, she told me that I even don't remember what I'm talking, what I read, because I forgot. I forgot because I was so much in pain. My jaw was broken. My teeth was knocked out. My hand was broken, and I remember nothing. But after half year, I was in court and I saw this video, and I said that I tried to kill some political guy from um, Donetsk region. But it's very important to understand that she tried to move to Zaporizhia region, and this is Donetsk region is absolutely different place, maybe 300 kilometers from yes, I think, yeah,
400
yeah,
kilometers.
from Zaporizhia. But every time they share the stories and they try to be strong, and they share the stories not like you must to be feel my pain. They're told it like funny stories, because it's very important with you when you're in prison to be strong and mobilized.
Yeah.
In the Russian prison, Bogdan met other political prisoners too. He met with Irina Danilovich, but with, for example, Nurman Zilal, Vladislav Yesipenko, or Apas Kurtamet. He met today, and he even shared a cell with Vladislav and Apas for some time. And at the very beginning,
and you know
yeah.
this because these people, they were liberated, right? They are not in the prisons anymore.
No, Apas in the prison,
Mm-hmm.
but Nariman and Vladislav,
They are free.
at home. Yeah.
Mhm.
And at the very beginning, Nariman became an important support for Bogdan because he has already been there for some time. And he understood how the system worked. So Bogdan was very scared at beginning, and Nariman told him, you need to be strong, to stay strong. You need to prepare yourself because this may be a long time. So he helped him protect his mental state, and help understand to how to survive emotionally in prison. So yeah, today Nirman and Vladislav have been released in exchanges, because the, the story shows so all the possible exchanges possible. Yeah.
I also have another question to you, Sasha. The question is, do you know maybe if Bogdan has access to information? I mean, or what kind of information about situation in Ukraine right now? Maybe he wrote you or asked you what happening in Ukraine.
It's a difficult question because in the cell he has television, but it is most of Russian propaganda. It's only Russian propaganda, and so all the information is limited and controlled by Russia. But we trying to in our letters we trying to coded some messages or yeah, but it's always censorship, and he no it's yeah, have to translate it. Це, це інколи погано, що в нього взагалі є доступ до новин.
So sometimes it's very bad that he, in general, has the access to the news.
Because, for example, after the another
Missile attack.
Missile attack to Kiev, he see my district in the news, and he was so nervous, and but we cannot tell
because you cannot communicate, because for example, when you know that there is a missile attack on the Kiev, the first thing that you want to do is like to call your loved ones and ask how are you, but at that moment he couldn't because he doesn't access the
he never know his family is alive. So difficult.
And Lini, did you have some information, because like 2022 and 2023 the situation was very changing? Did you receive at that moment some, maybe remember, information about what happening in Ukraine, what's going on with the front line?
Sasha correctly tell what through Bogdan going on, and yes, and the same situation was with me. First of all, we every time the staff who work in prison trying to push you and say that Ukraine was very little time left, no electricity in Ukraine. Every day they're under attack. That no man in Ukraine, everyone or died or run away from Ukraine, and uh, and I have no information from TV or radio or magazines, etc., etc. No letters. But after 6 months, when I was in Moscow, I started to receive some letters from people. No information about actual news about frontline or about Russian-Ukraine topics. Only, like some. It's very important to understand that I was almost all the time I was alone in the cell, and it was complicated because everything that you heard, it's in your mind. And when I start to receive these messages, I start to think, oh no, it's not so bad. If people from other countries, including Ukraine, not I need to understand, not directly from Ukraine, but from through other countries. I received this letter and understand if people send me the letters, so that's why everything is not so bad like they said. Because every time you receive these letters, and at the same time you heard in propagandistic news that everything is so bad. Mm, yeah, I hope. Yeah, I answer.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you touched my next question. We, with our partner organization Liberico, also organized in Germany the workshops that people write letters for the prisoners, for the Ukrainian abducted civilians. Uh, do they receive these letters? Do they receive these postcards?
Yes, I received a lot of postcards, um, and it was I every time I shared one story about how I received the first my postcard. It was after the court session, when you're trying to when I return, and you're trying to keep yourself in your hands and trying to not scare, to not show that you're in bad condition, and you see you watching her eyes, and you are trying to show that you are stronger, you can go through everything. But this course, it's so complicated. When you return, you understand that you have no power to continue the fighting. But because I'm sure that everyone who now in Russian prison every day fighting with the system of penita- penetration
Penetration system.
penetration system. Thank you. Yeah. And yes, I remember I was in cell. I was have no power, and the person who work in this prison brought me the letter, a letter, and I opened the letter, and I was read that. Um, we know you're in complicated situation. We know your story, but you must to keep yourself in your hand. You must be stronger, and all what's going on in this world uh, um, can be in your heart. You must keep your heart and clean. And I remember that time, these words, it so helped me and gave me so much power and understanding that now I am alone in this situation in prison. My closest ones fighting with me, but it's too complicated for them. And I understand that I am not alone. We are fighting together. A lot of people know my story. And this was from randomly person, these letters. And yes, these words brought me too much power. And I know that you can, all who watching us, you can write the letters to Ukrainian prisoners at the website Liberico, uh, and support our people now in Russian prison.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Linye. And uh, for all of us, write a letter is a so small action, but for a political prisoner, it's a whole world, and it's hope. And because when in Russian prison, you every time you heard Ukraine forgot you, world forgot you, no one will help you, no one care. A letter, usual letter, mm, break this lie, and letter said, I remember you. You are not alone with that, and we are waiting you. Even in this letter, no information about that напрямую, directly, yeah, because it is a signal. It is an important signal, and all of us may send a letter and support our political prisoners.
Yes. Thank you very much for coming in our studio today. And our message is speak for people who are in Russian prisons. Speak for Ukrainian abducted civilians. Speak for Bogdan Ziza, and stay for human rights. Stay. Yes.
Can I say
Yeah. Sure.
just
Sure.
few
Sure.
words? Yes, I was actually returned with exchange in 2024, and I'm sure that this return was happened just because all world speak about my story. Um, Activists spoke. Organizations spoke, politics spoke, regular people spoke, and that's help. And now we must spoke about other people because it helped to return. We must push Russia to return our people. Please tell about this, about whole the problem, and give the names this to this problem. Give the face to this problem, like Bogdan Ziza, Irena Danilova, Chapas Kurtamet, Aziz Ahtam, Asan Ahtam, etc., etc. We have more than 16,000 Ukrainian people now in Russian prison, and we all of them we must return because they now in Russian prison not just because they did some bad things. Now they're in Russian prison just because they are Ukrainian, and that's it. All what they did just because they have Ukrainian passport and they live in occupied territory. Yeah.
Thank you. Stand for human rights. Stand with us. Stand with Ukraine. Thank you.